Brent Scrotenbor, USA Today. Coach, you're a 5th seed in the East region, but you've had to come all the way out to the West Coast, and if you win, you'll have to go back to Boston. How do you feel about that, and what's the toughest part of that?
Well, I think if anybody's equipped to do it, we can do it after what we do in our league. We fly across the country constantly in our league, so our guys are pretty used to it.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Bob, I'm here covering New Mexico State, but I also cover the New Mexico Lobos, which is a team that tried to press this year and rebrand itself as a pressing team. Even talked to Kevin Mackey, like I think you have talked to in the past when you made the full shift. That culture change, that first year, there's some hiccups maybe and maybe some growing pains. A first-year coach, would you give him any advice on the growing pains of making a commitment to pressing the way you do?
Well, I fully believe coaches got to coach their personality, and that was Kevin's personality. I coached against Kevin. I've known Kevin forever, and Kevin started doing it in high school, and you have to. It's like anything else. You have to have trust in it. If you don't trust it, it's not going to be any good, and you have to trust it. And you're going to give up some layups sometimes. You're going to give up some easy shots. Sometimes it's just not going to work. But I think over the long haul, it's been good for us because it's different. You don't see it all the time. It's like a guy said to me, what makes it so effective? I said, well, if you walked out of your hotel room and some guy got about 6 inches from your face and followed you everywhere you went, wouldn't that bother you? He said, yeah. I said, well, that's what we try to do for 40 minutes is do that.
A follow-up to that, you recruit to this now, and you tell kids when they're coming on campus, this is what they're going to be doing. But there's probably, I'm guessing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's probably still a moment once they get on campus and are starting to practice when they realize that this is a lot more than they realize, this commitment. And I know Carter mentioned earlier, there's 3-hour practices sometimes where they realize they didn't really shoot the ball much at all. Do you see that moment with your players still and see that kind of realization that this is even more than they thought?
Well, first of all, I didn't do a very good job recruiting to this system. This year compared, I think, to the previous 2 years, we don't have near the foot speed that we had before. And when you're talking about covering the amount of area that our guys cover, foot speed's important. Everybody wants to play. Everybody says they want to play fast. If you go in any kid's home, they want to know how much do you run. And then as soon as you get them on campus, they don't want to run. They want the results at the other end, but they really don't want to run. So I think it's a learning and growing process. JC's been terrific. I mean, it made JC the National Player of the Year. It's got him a heck of a lot of accolades that, you know, if we played 58-53, he certainly wouldn't get.
Bob Mitchfingle, Charleston Gazette-Mail. Just wondering, you've talked about the run-up to a couple of years ago and how you were disappointed in that. How's the practice sessions and everything been to this game?
Well, obviously better than they were then. They could have been better, Mitch. They probably could have been worse. I mean, it's a long year, you know. It's a long year. It's a long year of playing against the same people every day. It's a long year of basically doing the same thing every day. But I thought we were okay yesterday. Yesterday I thought we were pretty good. Most of us. Everybody wasn't, but most of them were.
Bob, Todd Leonard from the Union Tribune here in San Diego. With Carter, was he any kind of a defensive player before he got to you guys? And I know he wasn't highly recruited. What did you guys see in him that others maybe didn't?
Well, I was in Orlando at Disney. Got me a big cup of coffee, went in to watch the 8 a.m. game over in the new place, which is not the old place. It's and he was in the furthest court away that you could be on. And I went over there, and I'm trying to drink my coffee and wake up, and this guy's pressing. at 8 o'clock in the morning. But no one else on his team is pressing, just him. So he's picking up the ball and pressuring people from end line to end line. And I called my assistants. I said, we got to sign this guy. And they're like, what does he do well? I said, hell, I don't know what he does well, but he sure tries to guard. And, he's gotten better and better and better because he works so hard. And he really does work. I mean, people say, hey, this guy works hard, and that means the guy gets in the gym 15 minutes or 20 minutes before practice. This guy's in there an hour and a half every single day on top of going to practice. And he's made himself a great player.